Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Maria Soto.
I'm Rachel Necky.
I'm Ricky Zhang.
And I'm Miles Queener, and our idea for our project was a conformable mapping fluid. So to start off, we have a video just to sort of give a hypothetical. Uh, it's already opened. Okay. Sorry for the watermark, but yeah.
Every morning, we wake up thinking we're ready to live another ordinary day, like we did yesterday and the day before that. Today, however, may be an exception to this, and Aaron is about to understand what I'm referring to. Aaron works at a factory. They design a lot of houses, and therefore, they use a lot of heavy tools. Today, Aaron had an accident at work. He hurt his arm with some of those tools, causing him a bad injury. People at work called the emergency numbers, but they had to wait for the ambulance. The transfer to the hospital took 20 minutes. The paramedics explained to the physicians what had happened. They ordered x-ray plates and prepared to get into the operating room. But what difference would it have made if the first responders were able to see what was wrong inside the wound, and during the transfer let the doctors at the hospital know this data? Aaron would have had a better and faster attention if they knew in advance the risks he was facing. This is possible with a conformable mapping fluid made by radio frequency identification chips, also known as RFID chips, which are powered by radio waves, meaning that they don't need other energy resource like an electrical charger. Pouring this fluid into Aaron's wound would produce a map of the interior of his arm, letting them see through a 3D image all the damaged tissue.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Our mapping fluid would be a substance that contains really, really tiny RFID chips. And basically, you can map out what's inside the space that you put it into. So if it was his arm, you could see what was broken, what was wrong, and then quickly decide what you want to do to fix it. It could also be used if, say, a pipe had something clogged in it, and you could easily tell what was in there.
All right. So we have a little demonstration. So yeah. Yep. So if hypothetically, there's a plumber, right? And here we're gonna use this one because that has holes in it. All right. So we have an arm here and we have a pipe here. So if hypothetically in any situation, a plumber comes over to your house because you have a clog, but he doesn't know where the clog is, right? So he would take some of this fluid, for example. We have some here. Let's see if this is actually going to work. And so you'd pour it into the pipe, for example. And unfortunately, it doesn't actually work right now. We haven't made the technology yet. So, so yeah, but so it's a prototype. So you can see what it's doing. It's mapping out the space inside of here, and it would be able to basically send the data back to a computer, which would give a 3D image of the space. And so this would have, our original idea was having this for medical use. So if someone, breaks a bone or gets a big cut, they're in a motorcycle accident or something, they can do this in the ambulance. So that when they actually get to the hospital, they can just say, okay, he has, a punctured artery, and his both bones in his arm are broken, and so they don't have to do surgery. They can already know that, and they know how to treat it before they even get into the operating room. We have some other sort of uses. It could also, like, we learned actually when we went to the Getty about structural stability in caves and cave paintings, and so instead of having to do damaging pushing on it, you could just put a small amount of this fluid into the caves and figure out where structural instability would be in these great artworks to know where not to, you know, cut and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so the RFID chips is so powerful that it's irreplaceable part of this mapping fluid. It can be useful in the following situations. First, people's lives could be saved under emergency situations because we have a emergency protocol that's being designed to fit in this situation here. So, for example, when the person's heart or lung, whatever organ is failing, it will trigger this emergency protocol. So an ambulance will be called, and this protocol can also keep monitoring its blood pressure. So when make sure when the ambulance gets here, the doctors can get the can get the first-hand data before everything's too late. The second use is once the chip gets into your body, it can be used to measure sugar and cholesterol inside your bloodstream. So and it can be viewed on your phone through an app. So you can when you found something you have a problem. For example, high blood pressure, you can just, control your diet. And third is that since this is using radio to transmit data, it can be tracked down. So if a person is going missing, it is very easy for police to use this technology to track down people. And another example is when after an earthquake, a building is about to go down, so it can pour this kind of liquid in there, so it can map out the structural damage of the building, so make an assessment, so we can decide if this building is still usable, or we can just we have to blow it up. Yeah, and
So this kind of liquid could lead into a discussion, is it a violation of rights to kind of track people down, or those kind of things when we're using it to find missing people, or when you're in life or death situation, is it all right for physicians to use this in order to save someone's life? So we have a lot of different opinions about this, but this is thinking into the future, so we're not very concerned about that. But we would have to think a lot of different things, like the price of this liquid. Would it be easy for anyone to have access to it, or different things like about permission? Am I agreeing to use this liquid on me, or there are some different discussions. So that's the conclusion is this would make a lot of jobs easier, and maybe we could find this mapping fluid in the future someday.
Thank you.